What's up, gamers? This is NGG here with another review video. This time it's of Atelier Ryza 2 Lost Legends and the Secret Fairy. I have now beat this game and I love this game so very much, and I want to tell you why in this review video. Let's start with the story. So this story takes place directly after Atelier Ryza 1. This is exactly 3 years after the first part, so it's definitely a direct continuation from Atelier Ryza 1. Now in that story, they have, she coming of age story. It's still a coming of age story here, but obviously some of the stuff that she's already learned from the first part carries over to the gameplay and the mechanics of this new one. So for sure, I would say if you've never played Atelier Ryza 1, I would start with that one before playing this one, because there's going to be a lot of character development or character, like them meeting up with each other again after years, and you're not going to get the why, the who, and the what if you didn't play the first part. So definitely, since this is a direct continuation, play the first part first and then come back to the second. If you decide to play the second part, they do fill in a little bit of the gaps. Not all the gaps, but a little bit of the gaps in from the first part. So it is possible to play 2 without playing 1. I just not recommended. At least for me, I wouldn't. I would definitely play 1 and then play 2. Okay, so the story takes place Ryza from her island. She's in her island and she gets a letter from her friend that used to live on the island, is now in the capital city, to come over, and she is carrying like this mysterious stone with her as she travels, because somebody has told her to like try to figure out what's in the stone, or why is the stone acting weird. So she travels from her island to the new island, where her friend asks her if she could help him with some projects he has going. He has discovered these texts where he has found a ruin and he needs an alchemist, because it seems like it's just like the ruins from their old hometown, and he needs her help to discover the mysteries behind it. And you meet a bunch of characters along the way. You meet like all of your characters from the last game you meet in this game, plus 3 more, I want to say. 2 of them are non-playable from the last game, but you meet 3 more that are playable. So you have a full party of, I believe, 6 or 7. So that's what starts the story of this game. They find some ruins. They try to figure out what's going on with these ruins, and you have to discover a bunch of different ruins in the game, and there are these things to complete them. But that's essentially what the story is about. You're there to help your friend who has asked for your help, and you're set up in town with a little alchemy studio that was a rented room, and you have to help Patty's dad. Patty's dad has asked you to help the town in exchange for the free room and board of your stay, to help the townspeople complete whatever little side thing they ask you for. So they give you like this messaging board. A lot of my time was spent there in the beginning to make money, to build up relations in the town. I don't know that is necessary for the game progression to go, but I did it anyway. And that's where some of the gameplay takes place. So let's get into gameplay right now. So gameplay is, you're essentially obviously an alchemist. You're picking up materials and gathering things to essentially make things from scratch, or make things out of nowhere. Obviously Ryza's an alchemist, so she has to gather ingredients from chopping trees, gathering from insects from plants, gathering the plants themselves, gathering rocks. There's a lot of picking up in this game, a lot of gathering in this game. Also, you are building items to progress in the story, to fight better bosses, and you're constantly building and upgrading your gear, and constantly building and upgrading your armor and weapons. There is a skill tree new to this game. I don't remember the skill tree being in the last game. I know that when you did your alchemy, you unlocked different things, and that's still here. You definitely still are unlocking different things in your alchemy. So like say you make a nectar. Well, once you make the nectar, there are 2 things that you can make, 2 other recipes for making the nectar that you can still build out. So it's just like that. They spiral off. Not all of them have things that split off into another recipes. Most of them do, but not all of them. Your equipment for sure does. I've never built out the best equipment in the game, but for sure, you have to build out, do your alchemy. And a lot of my gameplay was spent in building the stuff. When I would get lost, I would build all the alchemy stuff, anything you could build, because sometimes it was that you needed to make things to progress the story. Sometimes it was that you needed to go into the ruins and find like this chest that you didn't think to open, because why open every chest? They don't usually progress the storyline, but in this game they do. You had to find a compass that would progress the storyline for you to find these little spirits to talk to 100% the ruins, so that you can get everything in the skill tree. So everything like splits off from everything, and they all, you know, eventually make sense, but you don't understand why you're doing some things. Like I wouldn't think that I had to open a chest to progress the story. And in this game you can fight these like little sub-boss in areas. Usually you can run away from, I mean, not hit them and not fight them if you didn't want to. But in one of the ruins, you definitely have to fight one of those sub-bosses. But the game doesn't tell you that. I was stuck a long time. Now, I don't know if most people don't know, I really don't like to play my game with a guide. I like to go in blind. I used to be a guide person, and I was like, you know what? It's much more fun for me to play my games without a guide. So I don't go in usually using a guide, but with this game I got stuck so many times. I believe like 10 hours of my game was lost. So I would have to, every now and again I would have to, because it wouldn't tell you where to go. And I would think, oh, this is a side quest, I don't have to do a side quest from a side character to progress the game. And yeah, you would, and I wouldn't think that, but you did. So things like that, the game doesn't tell you that the side quests, like they're on the story menu, but you don't think that they're main quests. Like you think that they're side quests. I beat the game with some of those things that are on the story menu still there, and I would think those were side quests. So just like that, that's how I got lost a lot. So I definitely had to use a guide, I would say like 5 times, to figure out different puzzles or different places to go. I wouldn't use it constantly, just like 5 times just to figure out where I was lost and what I didn't make or didn't do to progress the storyline. The gameplay loop was very fulfilling. I never like felt like, oh, do I have to build this again? No, I never felt, I was like, all right, let me build this, let me build it better, let me build it stronger, let me get better stuff. And I rarely use the auto item feature in the game that the game has. It has it, but I didn't use it but like once or twice. And I would say if you're new to the game, use the auto once or twice, just so that you can see how the game puts the items. And when you're more comfortable doing it yourself and learning what does what and which items give you the characteristics on the weapons you need, I would say do it that way. So let's get into the battle of Atelier Ryza. So in Atelier Ryza, you are using an active time battle system, and for every time you hit the monsters, you get like these points. And when you press the R button, you get to see like what kind of magic attacks or specialty attacks you can use on your on these monsters. If you look at the characters on the left, sometimes they will ask you to do a special something, whether it be do a physical attack, do a lightning attack, do a magic attack. They will ask you to like do a special attack. You could also run for the monsters, obviously, but yeah, they would ask you to do a physical attack, and it's up to you to like do what they're asking you to do in the game. And I think that's the best part of the game, that it's active. You're not really stopping, and you can switch from any character you want at any point in time. You have 3 in the front and you have 1 on reserve. If you press that L button, you would see that reserve character in the back. That reserve character gets all the stat boost the rest of the characters get. So that person is technically in battle with you. They're just a reserve, like bench warmer in case somebody gets hurt or needs to be moved. But yeah, so you definitely have to do all the things that they're asking you to do to get these buffs and these AP points, and the CC points let you use items. Also, like when you reach your level boost, like right now mine is at 3, when it reaches 5 you get to do your final fatal attack. Okay, and so now let's talk about the controls in this game. And the controls in this game, on my Pro Controller, every button basically does something. Like, you wouldn't think it would, but every controller button does something. So sometimes even you have to double tap on like the plus button and the minus button, the L3 and the R3 do something. Like, every button in this game opens up a different menu. So they do use full use of the control, the controller that you are given. And obviously, since I played on a Switch, I did it on the Pro Controller. I don't know what other platforms this game came out on, but for sure, the Switch takes full use of all the buttons on the controller. So there's that. Yeah, the L3 button takes out your spirit beast, and I know it tells you in the game that it does, but I didn't think to read the bottom part. Like, it was always there, obviously, and I didn't think to read it, because, you know, I'm like, oh, okay, just keep going in the bosses, and I didn't even see that the little thing said, you know, call this, and that was just something I didn't look at. So that's, for me, that was an on me mistake. But I just want you guys to know that that button, the L3 button, definitely calls your spirit beast to come at you. And now let's get into spoilers. So if you do not want to hear any storyline spoilers, just cut to the ratings. That'll be the next thing that I do, and I will leave a cut in the description below, or in the comments in the description section, where you can cut back in. All right, let's get into it. I definitely thought the ending boss was a little lackluster with the music that was playing when I was fighting him. I was like, oh, this music doesn't even seem like, you know, powerful or dynamic. Like, yeah, I feel like we got so far to the end, and like the ending was like meh. Like, I've seen this, like, I was expecting more, I guess, especially since I had played the game so long. My characters at the end of my gameplay were at level 97. So like, even with 97, this boss was hard to beat, because he does something to you that doesn't let you heal yourself, and if you do heal yourself, you really decrease all your life, and then he can one-hit KO you afterwards. And I didn't really like that. And then to get to him, you had these annoying little like cutscene bosses, and like in my game I could run right past them after I beat them, so they shouldn't have been hard, but I was dying with these little cutscene bosses. So I didn't like that either. I'm like, why are the cutscene bosses, mini bosses, harder than the ones that are running around, which are supposed to be the same ones? Either give them the same level, same strength, or decrease the level of the mini boss fights, well, the cutscene ones, which were supposed to be the same ones running around on screen. The ratings. What would I rate Atelier Ryza to? So now I have over, let's say, 85 to 90 hours on this game, and I would rate it a 4.8. I really like the game, but the getting lost, I had to knock it down a little bit, because I would get lost frequently, and the game wasn't very clear. Like, if you didn't have the area open that you needed to go next, it wouldn't tell you where you had to go. So there was a lot of me getting lost in this game that I did not like. Otherwise, this game was amazing. But all in all, this was a really fun game. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm hoping you guys to do too. Happy gaming, guys. Bye!